All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 2-0 Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know their two victories haven't been beautiful. I know it hasn't been perfect. I know it's been lackluster at times. But nonetheless, specifically in that Green Bay victory, 13 points in the fourth quarter. Desmond Ritter, 6 of 8, making pass after pass, play after play, getting first downs with his legs. Good quarterbacks know who to get the ball to. Get the ball to Pitts, Bijan, Drake. Just do what you need to do. Now, Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons offense thus far, 2 games in, it's been very, very relaxed. We're not seeing anything crazy. It's very methodical, very heavy run based. They're dominating. They are dominating both trenches, which is extremely important. But in that last game against Green Bay, they won the possession 36-23, over 200 rushing yards. Here's the reason I have zero concerns, and I'm not even really judging Desmond Ritter, especially, that first game only throwing for 115, 118 yards against Carolina. Here's the thing. Offensive line play, because so many teams don't play their starters in the preseason, since we added a week of regular season football, going from 17 weeks to 18 weeks, you're seeing a lot of teams, because there's only 3 preseason games, rest their starters. So what happens is the offensive line, there's so many moving parts. If you talk to a former NFL offensive lineman, they will tell you it is by far the hardest position in football, because timing, communication, all of the little stuff. If you're not on the same page, you're going back 10 yards. You're giving up a sack. So you have these offensive coordinators, you have these offenses with young rookie or young quarterbacks going a little bit safer, because you don't want that injury. You don't want that strip sack for a touchdown. Why put yourself in a bad position if you can prevent it and just move the chains and run the football? So we're going to talk deeper about Atlanta before Week 3 matchup against Detroit, where they are not the favorites, which I completely understand. Atlanta went 7-10 last season. They were a better team than a lot of people thought. They made a lot of moves on the defensive side. I get it. They have a chip on their shoulder. It's a young offense. I get the under recognition. I get it. But before we get any further into today's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We do post a couple of Falcons videos every single week on this channel. So if we try and get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So one thing I said a minute ago or whatever, good quarterbacks know who to get the ball to, right? We're looking at Bijan Robinson. We're looking at Drake London. We're looking at Kyle Pitts. The offense is filled with playmakers. So in week 1, Kyle Pitts, 3 targets, abysmal. Drake London, 1 target, 0 catches in the first game of the season. Unacceptable. Bijan Robinson, he did see 6 targets. Obviously, being a running back, it's a little bit different. Point is, week number 2, Kyle Pitts, we still need to see him get the ball more. We still need to see it. But the good news is he went from 3 targets in week 1 to 5 targets in week 2. But what's even better, Drake London going from 1 target in week 1, like I said, I don't even know how that happened, that he didn't have a catch, to 7 targets and a great game against Green Bay this past Sunday. So it's going to take time. I get it. It's more of a pedestrian, lackluster offense. But here's the thing. Here's an unfortunate, unideal statistic. Through 2 weeks, Desmond Ritter leads the league in PFF's turnover-worthy plays with 5 turnover-worthy plays rate at 7.6%. That sentence didn't make sense. The point is, he ranks 28th in total dropbacks and 19th in total pressures faced. So the offensive line protection is not where it's going to be. It's not where it's supposed to be, which is perfectly fine, as we just mentioned in our offensive line rant. Desmond's going to get better. I know there was at least 1 dropped pick 6, but at the end of the day, football isn't what ifs. It's just, did you win? I mean, this isn't college football. Did you win? Yes. The Atlanta Falcons scored 13 unanswered points. They held Jordan Love to 0 completions in the fourth quarter. The defense and the offense did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job in fourth quarter. Good teams close. No matter how the game starts, good teams close. Now, here's one thing. Atlanta's defense last year was around middle of the pack. They kind of hovered a little bit more towards less than average. They go out in free agency and they just acquire so many names. Jesse Bates III, Calais Campbell, David Onyemata. But 2 of those 3 players I named have killed it in only just 2 weeks. So the highest graded defenders after week 2, according to PFF, Jesse Bates III, the safety out of Cincinnati who had 2 interceptions against Carolina in his Falcons debut. He is number 2 in the highest graded defenders according to PFF, 93.3. David Onyemata also there, top 10, 91.5. The trenches have changed completely. And I know we're continuing to say it. Offensive line isn't quite there yet. They're still running ball up teams' throats, which sounded way worse than how I wanted it to come off. 45 rushes, 211 yards. So even with the key pass protection, I don't know if you guys have been able to tell, but I've held in like 3 coughs in this freaking video. I apologize. So the offensive line trenches, you're still running the ball, you're still getting first downs, you're still moving the chains, but defensively, they've done a great job. Now, I know Green Bay was without Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon is still an RB1 on a lot of football teams. They held him to just 55 yards rushing. They held Green Bay in total just 21 carries for 84 yards with just 4 yards per carry. So I love what Atlanta's doing right now because they're trying to click. They're trying to figure out the offensive line, get Desmond Ritter. Keep in mind, this dude's played 6 games. He's played 6 career NFL games. That last game against Green Bay, that was his first career interception. So you go to Detroit, you go to Jacksonville, come back for Houston, Washington, then you play Tampa Bay, Tennessee. I really like the Falcons' upcoming schedule here. I like their schedule all season in general. If I'm not mistaken, I believe before the season started, it was rated as one of the more easier ones. Here's the thing. If they can control the trenches defensively, limit touchdowns given up, and just move the chains offensively like they did in that last game against Green Bay, you're going to win football games, even if Desmond Ritter isn't Desmond Ritter quite yet. But with that being said, I still think he did a really good job against Green Bay, even though there were a couple of dropped pick sixes, there were a couple of dropped interceptions. At the end of the day, he went 19 of 32 for 237 yards, touchdown, and that 1 interception. But he averaged 7.5 yards per throw, which is good. It's going to take time. That's just simply the point. It's going to take time, man. This is a team that won 7 games last year. So they're so underrecognized in the national media. I love making Atlanta Falcons videos. I apologize. There were so many audio things. I literally tried to cough 3 times. I don't know if it'll be picked up on, so I apologize for that. But like I said earlier on, we post tons of NFL content every single day, along with at least 3 Falcons videos every single week. Falcons fans, I appreciate all the love you guys have been showing me last season, the off season, 2 weeks into this year. Can't wait to continue to cover this squad for the next 16 games and hopefully a playoff run. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. But guys, how do you feel about Atlanta, man? Give me a score prediction for this upcoming Sunday matchup on the road against the Detroit Lions. Thank you for watching.